Hi, and welcome back to Rowdy Sports. This is your boy Peach, coming to you with a Day 2 recap of the World Cup and a preview of Day 3, which is today. Let's get right into it. Canada versus Bosnia to start for the recap. Jesse March, coach of the Canadians, leading the Canadians to a 1-1 draw. Probably not the result he wanted. Bosnia definitely felt like the more complete team in this match. While I do think Canada showed some very, bright signs, they just could not finish. Canada had 13 shots and Bosnia had 8 shots on target, 3 to Canada, 4 to Bosnia. That means 50% of the shots that Bosnia were taking were going at goal. Lesser for the Canadians, which is probably pretty disappointing to say the least, to have 5 more shots and not putting them towards the net. I think one was questionable, and the other, I think 2 of them could have been shots on target almost, but we're not going to nitpick. First goal came in the 21st minute by Lukic. It was a corner that got tipped to Lukic into the center of the box. Partially marked. He got in front of his defender. It was sloppy to say the least from Canada. They just, to let the tip go in was one thing because he did it with the back of his head. So he got up, back of his head, and then the header from Lukic into the box after not getting stopped. I think the goalkeeper got beat on the tip. He went to punch after the tip and missed it. And that's why, it's goal. It's goal from there because, 6'4" Lukic isn't going to miss from, 3 feet away from the goal. It's just not going to happen. Another real downer for me was, Jonathan David could not finish. He had an open goal, pretty much open goal that he just put at the keeper. He could have put it in any other direction and it would have gone in. Buchanan, great touches, incredible play, just could not find the last man and was playing pretty selfish. I think that if Canada want to get back into this and have a fighting chance in their group, they're going to have to play incredibly less selfish and look for that final pass and not just, take it on. It's not like these players are superstars, but they are very good, and they're good enough to find each other to win, which is kind of what didn't happen. It was almost the exact opposite. It was a lot of, I'm going to drive forward and then try to do it myself. Man of the match for me is Sead Kolasinac. Had the assist on the tip, but his overall play was incredible. For a 32-year-old to be bossing an entire side of the field, players were not getting around him. Bosnia was playing pretty rough, to say the least. They were putting a lot of Canadians on the ground, but it's got to go to Kolasinac. He was sensational. He had a goal line clearance, which is as good as a goal. It's, that stops Canada from winning. There were 2 goal line clearances in that game, and he had one of them. And it was, he had an own goal the last time in that same situation, and this time he gets the clearance. It came off the top bar, went back out into play, and Canada then bundled it after the fact. It was a incredible clearance. Canada didn't equalize until the 78th minute through Cly Larin, who arguably should have started this game, in my opinion. He is a big dude, and you needed a big dude against other big dudes there. 6'4", just built like a brick house. It's hard to get around, you know what I mean? He could have done something special for the Canadians there, and he did in the 78th minute through the sub. But him and Jonathan David could have bossed up top together, and that would have been the difference in my mind. Let's move on to USA versus Paraguay. USA, dude. Oh, woo! 4-1 to the USA. Really, really great performance. Florian Balogun, 2 goals. He's got to be the man of the match of this game. He not only got the 2 goals, he won 90% of his 50-50s. Was tracking back for interceptions, playing the link up, unselfish, trying to find the last man. Played, I want to say, 80 minutes, 75 to 80 minutes of this match, just nonstop. I gave him a standing ovation from my couch. You know what I mean? Very happy. Former Arsenal player, getting in, currently at Monaco. Did a really, really incredible job this game. Let's talk about some of the other match facts here. This is the first time the U.S. have ever scored 4 in a World Cup, let alone it being our opener match. It's our first time ever scoring 4 goals in a World Cup. Gio Reyna with the 4th goal could end up being contention for goal of the tournament. Outside of the foot, beats a player, gets it on the outside of his foot, takes the goal around another defender, beats the goalkeeper, obviously. It's a great goal. It's an incredible goal. Let's see, there were 6 yellow cards in this game, could have probably been 10. In the 90th minute, there could have been a red card that didn't even get called, which was pretty disappointing. High tackle on Gio. Studs up. It was above the ankle. On the ankle, above the ankle, you know what I mean? It should have been a card, wasn't a card. At the very least, it should have been a yellow card. It was given as a foul. I think it was a player that was currently on a yellow, so he didn't want to give a red card in the game. But let's face it, that has to be something like that has to be called. It can't just be, you can't try to break a dude's ankle. Just not okay. But all in all, this is a great win for Poch, especially to start this tournament this way. The biggest fault that I got to say is that giving up that 1 goal, it's almost like the U.S. fell asleep at the back. I see it so often. Chris Richards misses a tackle. Play gets passed out by Julio Enciso. Substitute comes on and finishes it. It was a good goal to take for sure by Paraguay, but bad goal to give away. I mean, every goal is bad to give away, but in form, this was a bad goal to give away for the Americans. They have to lock that up. Something else that I kind of felt was lackadaisical was Ricardo Pepe. I think that Haji Wright is a better all-around player. When Pepe came on, he had a couple of chances that he completely squandered. One where he took a heavy touch and then gave the ball to Malik Tillman to try to finish, but Tillman got shut down, and then the play was over, and it was in the box. It was all he had to do was first time smash it, and it would have been a goal. I say that like it's easy because I do it on FIFA, but realistically, I don't know what the actual pressures of that moment were like. I just know that I think that Haji Wright is a more rounded player than Ricardo Pepe. It's something that I would like to see happen, is that Wright getting that shout. Giving away that clean sheet, though, is pretty upsetting. Other than that, the 4-1 win is a great way to start the tournament. I think that America, the U.S. men's national team, is someone to be feared in this tournament. And I don't think people are going to see that until they have to play. I don't think they're going to understand that until they're getting played against by the Americans. I think in our group, we might have a very, easy group, but, teams like Paraguay was very aggressive. Let's say that. You're going to have to experience this with every country you play against within this tournament. Players want this trophy more than any trophy on the planet, and they will die for it, and they'll show that on the field. Players will make challenges, like in the South Africa game, where they get red carded because they're willing to die for this trophy. And Paraguay showed that a lot. They were very aggressive with the Americans, maybe because there's some, rivalry between countries. But let's face it, they were very, very aggressive off the ball. Every challenge was crunching. And I think that's why we saw the substitution of Christian Pulisic at halftime instead of like in the 60th or 70th minute where, a lot of the starters did come off. I think Pulisic recognized that he was going to get injured if he stayed on in this match. He created both the first and second goal by breaking free into the box and making the pass into the final third that created the goal. He created those chances. And both of those times, he had wild tackles coming in on him. He had to beat players that were doubling up on him. You know what I mean? Like the substitution in the 45th minute, I'm not sure if it was from injury. I think it was to avoid injury because he had already been you could see how aggressive the Paraguay players were playing. They were playing like they were going to hurt you, which is, that's part of the sport. If you can't handle it, then you shouldn't be a professional athlete, in my opinion. All in all, day 2 of the World Cup was, a telling sign for the rest of the tournament. Like, watch out for the U.S. and Canada. Play less selfish. Maybe get better. Maybe different starting lineup. But that's it. That's our recap. See you tomorrow for the next recap, and later today for the preview. Peace.